Recording. Hi there, happy World Fringe Day.
Happy World Fringe Day.
We are here with Bedford Fringe. Why don't you introduce yourselves?
I'm James, I'm the director of the festival.
I'm Fee, I'm the co-director of the festival.
Very nice. And your festival is imminent. Tell us where you're at in your Fringe year.
Yeah, we're all on edge. It's the calm before the storm. So we go up on the 15th of July and we're doing a big one this time around. We're running for 2 weeks. So we come down on the 27th of July and we've invited a second venue to come on board, the Place Theatre down the road. They've been a venue sort of in the past, but we had a sort of a little gap between them and now, sort of about 5 years or something like that, just so we could sort of get moved into this new venue. So with that in mind, we're doing about 237 individual events over 2 weeks.
Brilliant.
That's the face most people give us.
Yeah,
it's usually the face of people going, "Oh my God, they're insane."
Yes.
Yeah.
And those shows, they're sort of the sort of shows, the dynamic programming. It's very similar to Edinburgh. So there are shows for lots of comedy shows and music. There's free shows, there's dance, there's singing, there's poetry, there's some film screenings, children's theatre, shows for one audience member. Shows for politics.
Where's the one for one audience member? In a phone box?
They're over at the Place Theatre. The Place Theatre has programmed, the majority of their programming is theatre, whereas the majority of our programming is sort of everything else. So they've really gone to town on some really interesting, real sort of fringe shows that Bedford will never see without Bedford Fringe, and that's kind of the whole point really why we do it. That's really interesting stuff. So yeah, that's called Room for One, and that's exactly what it says on the tin. And then Room for Two, so that's a slightly different show, but for two people
audience.
Yeah. So they're enjoying sellouts.
And their sold out board is just lots and lots of long list.
And of course they're quite short shows. They're about 15 to 20 minutes or half an hour, something like that. So and they do something like 10 or 15 in a day over a period of say 5 days.
Oh wow!
And that's with Bedford Fringe this year. We've programmed events to sort of be with us for over sort of 2 to 5, 6 days. So there's some opportunities to build up some momentum through social media. So maybe the first show may not have as many people, but maybe the last 2 shows will be really busy. So we're hoping that works for them.
And how long has Bedford Fringe been going on for?
This is our 13th year. We are on lucky number 13 at the moment. Yeah, so 2007 was our first festival, and we are now 15 years. I was going to say older, wiser, but still as ridiculous. But yes, so we are quite old now in the fringe circuit, I suppose.
You're getting on a bit, yeah. You're getting on.
We're aging. We're getting into those sort of grumpy teenage years now is where we've got to.
I remember your first Fringe, and that doesn't seem like it was that long ago. That's amazing.
2007. I was technically still a child when we did the first Fringe. I was 17 when we did our first Fringe.
You were involved.
That's when Facebook was born as well, or at least in the UK.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Oh, we're gone.
Hello, sorry. We're back.
That's all right.
It's all right. Oh, no, it dropped out.
I'll try and put the video back on. Sorry, I don't know what happened there.
It's okay.
I
just thought you got really bored of us.
Yeah, no, we're bored of you.
We're in a village.
We're in a
shed in a village.
We're in a rural setting. Internet isn't great. So you've got over 200 productions, which is incredible, and you've been going for 13 years. I can't believe it. When it comes to kind of the wider international picture, do you connect with other fringe festivals and international artists? How important is that to you guys?
Yeah, we do. I mean, what we find is because where we are and when we are is perfect for Edinburgh. So Bedford's only about 60 miles up the M1, quite centrally based in the UK in general. So we're quite lucky. So we bring in some really good sort of clean, tight sort of Edinburgh previews, because obviously it's quite aggressive up there. Sort of the idea of Edinburgh preview in Edinburgh isn't a thing anymore. You've got to be on what you're doing.
Point by the time you get there. Yeah.
But we do see a lot of international work coming through. We've got we've got a company coming over from Philadelphia doing a children's show this year. We've got our friends, our Splash Test Dummies, coming in from Australia, I think. So they'll be bouncing off us and going up, literally, going up to Edinburgh. So off the top of my head, in the past, we've had sort of great drumming groups from South Africa.
Choirs from South Africa as well.
Choirs. We've got a comedian, Mike Lemmy, coming over from America. Yeah, so I think it's because like I said, it's because when we are and where we are, we get a lot of the people who are thinking, well, tell you what, let's get into the UK a bit earlier, do a few shows in Bedford, and then get up on the EasyJet and off to Edinburgh, whatever they do. So we find us previewing quite a lot of international stuff. And obviously, when I'm up in Edinburgh, I tend to go to these World Fringe meetings and hook up with other Fringe directors and sort of get some ideas and swap ideas with them as well. Yeah.
Sharing is caring.
It is.
And there's a lot of, I think we all share a lot of the UK artists as well, don't we? So I think they kind of come up through, a lot go to Ludlow, to you guys. We're in Wandsworth.
Yeah, it's interesting actually. Over the last sort of few years, you get sort of the posters and the list of Fringe festivals that are coming up. Are very similar, but it's the actual list of them is growing as to where people tend to go on the way to, and it's nice to be part of that list as well.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's like a touring sort of industry in its own right, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of, in World Fringe Day, we are talking about and celebrating the fact that our festivals are really accessible in terms of their programming or non-programming, open access elements, but also the accessibility to diverse artists and audiences. Is that something that you see happening in Bedfringe, or do you have any initiatives to support that agenda?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have, it's not something we do particularly consciously, but generally there's been a growth of sort of applications from a diverse background, which is fantastic, and we really try and enjoy it. So we've got quite a lot of people with various performers with various disabilities this year. So we've got Aaron Simmons, who is in a wheelchair, he's a comedian. We've got Georgie Morell, who's another comedian who is blind. What else we got on my list of should have a list, but we don't. And as I say, we have in the past with the venue that we're in has recently started looking at BSL interpreted performances and things like that. So that's something we're kind of looking into for next year's festival. It's a little bit too close to be able to do this year's with how far in advance obviously we have to program, but they've been really successful as well. So that's something that we can kind of take from them to move into next year and be able to make it more accessible in that sense as well.
Just generally, I mean, this venue in particular at the Quarry Theatre, it's the sort of disabled access is superb. It's a brand new sort of refurb, so they've followed all of those kind of guidelines. Even getting up to our studio theatre, there's a lift, and so we're really confident that we can,
And also things that, it sounds really stupid, but something like Splash Test Dummies is completely non-spoken. And so if you have got people with various disabilities in terms of audience members, it's not something you need to have to follow all the dialogue with and whatever else. So it can be appreciated and understood by a wide variety of people with different access needs in different ways, which is fantastic. It's something that's so open. Same with someone like the amazing Bubble Man. We had a group, when we had him last time, we had a group from a specialist autistic school, because it's something that everyone can appreciate on a certain level, and even though that might differ, it's something that everybody can enjoy, and so we've kind of thought about our programming in that sense of how an audience consumes it, as well as therefore
thinking.
And I guess that is reflected in the audiences as well.
Absolutely. The other thing to say also, every year we have a charity that we support, and this year our charity is Autism Bedfordshire. So another sort of link to access as well, and trying to raise them some money.
Yeah, cool, that sounds brilliant. That's such a good idea. So do you want to tell us anything else about your Fringe Festival before we before we love
We got we're with some silly stats. So we
Go
got
on.
6. Well, we're 13. So we're 13 years old. So we're 13 days long this year. That's just coincidental.
Planning.
But no, yeah. And we're hosting probably over 13,100 minutes of a Fringe entertainment. You would have to stay awake for 9 days if you wanted to.
I love it.
If you printed out every single ticket, it would all of our tickets back to back would go from one end of a football stadium to the other.
I love that work goes out. That's Fringe.
The other thing to say, sort of more prevalent to today, is just for today. So for World Fringe Day, we have 25% off about 30 of.
Oh no.
Sorry, we missed that. Are you there?
Yeah.
Say it again.
Say that again.
25% off.
25% off about 30 of our shows. So if you go onto our website, bedfringe.com, have a look at the list, and if you add in the code World Fringe Day when it comes to paying, then 25% will come off the ticket price just for today. Midnight UK time.
That's awesome. What a great idea. Love that.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to love you and leave you and wish you a very happy World Fringe Day.
And have an
Happy World Fringe Day.
Yes, happy World Fringe Day.
Have an amazing festival next week, and thank you so much for joining us.
That's okay. Pleasure. See you soon.
Bye.